after my EDC, or Everyday Carry 2-volume set download came out earlier this year, I got a lot of questions, particularly pertaining to what my view was and what my recommendations were for composite, polymer, plastic, G10, so-called non-permissible weapons were. So what I'd like to do today is I'd like to do a quick review of one particular brand that I think you guys might find enjoyable. Alright guys, now the items you see here come from a gentleman named Matt Clanton. They are handmade. He's the owner and operator of Dynamic Defense, and he can be found at trainingforreality.com. I have the link down below in the description. 2 orders of items here. The first is the pen. Now, unlike some pens that are reinforced for self-defense, that are like the Sharky, for example, which is famously on the market, or else tactical pens, which are conventionally made out of metal, these are 100% non-metallic. They are, however, non-functioning pens, because what he has done on the inside of these pens, if you look at them, is he has taken out the core of these actual real existing markers, and he has filled it with a spike. This is about a 1/4 of an inch spike made from a fiberglass composite. So this is, again, it won't write. There's no writing that's going to occur here, but that is an extremely sharp spike that would easily, you can see the mark it's leaving on my skin, that would easily pierce flesh. He's got 3 different models here. This is an old Milwaukee construction marker with the exact same size of spike on the inside, and then we have the slightly chubbier Sharpie, which sits in the hand extremely well as well. It's a little bit bigger, but again, it's a completely non-metallic item. So what is the intent of these weapons? These so-called non-permissibles are meant to be carried and concealable because they're not detectable by a metal detector. So this allows you to take an item where you're not otherwise supposed to have an item. I'm not making any comments on the legality of that or the illegality of that. Certainly if you get caught with a regular pen or even a metal tactical pen, I think you might have a much less issue than you would carrying one of these. That being said, there are individuals that like to carry EDCs, and you never know the environment. So even if we play devil's advocate and we say, worst case scenario, you're assuming these are legally purchasable now, but you're going to throw one in your bug-out bag so that you have it should the eventuality come that the climate changes and you're required to have an item that can't be detectable. If you are in law enforcement or a security professional, you need to understand that these exist, because these are extremely easy to mistake as a regular marker, and if you don't have something to do a writing test on, you're not going to notice. A lot of people don't have the habit of wanting to touch a felt tip and get permanent marker on it. So this is a very, very easy everyday item to carry into an environment. On the second side of the spectrum, we have knives, and we have 2 manner here. The first that we're going to look at is a sharpened blade, and the second is a copy, which is a training blade. Now, these are a slight variation of what Matt normally sells. These were made custom for me, so the shape is a little bit different from some of the other ones that he offers. As a training blade, even if you just wanted a neck knife trainer, the quality on this is just astounding. I've had professional machine-made knives that do not have as clean a finish as this. The sheath is immaculate. It is just absolutely perfect. There's not a rough edge. It's so cleanly finished. The fit in the hand is incredible. The paracord wrap on this is so tight, it's unbelievable. It's literally one of the best paracord jobs I've seen in any trainer or any real knife. And as a design goes, as a shape goes, incredible. Now, these knives, again, they're non-metallic. As a trainer, even if you have alternate beliefs, or you don't really believe in carrying a non-permissible item, as a trainer, these are just unmatched. The quality is amazing. The fit in the sheath is incredible. It's a beautiful size. So if you do have other neck knives that you carry for EDC and you're looking for a good and reliable trainer, Matt has some really, really great designs. He even has training guns as well, made out of similar materials. Now, as a weapon, as an item for self-defense, the argument, the moral discussion becomes more complex. this is not a utility knife. Because it is a G10 polymer composite, it will dull much more quickly if you're using it for utility. I won't say it's a single-use weapon, but it's an emergency use weapon. This is meant to be carried when something else cannot be carried, or to be equipped in your emergency bag, to have an item that might, slip through detection. It is more than sharp enough to cause some pretty serious injury on the body. Great point, and it fits fantastically well in the hand. The sheath is, again, super snug, super tight, and you have this lanyard here. Normally when you carry that, you want to be attaching this to your belt loop so that this can be carried inside the pants. So even if you're required to take your belt off, this will escape detection. When I was working in security, the most common place people would hide the weapon was in the V crease of the hip near the groin, because that's where people search the least vigorously, and it was a very easy thing to carry in. I have a good friend who works in law enforcement, and they did a raid on a house. They found polymer G10 knives in every single toilet tank in the house. So if you're looking for something to keep that's not going to erode or get affected, you can tether one of these in a toilet tank. It can be kept in any condition, so super good as well for stash, home defense. And when we talk about self-defense weapons, one of my first teachers rather profoundly said to me that if I'm going to carry a knife, I want it to be expensive enough and strong enough that it's not going to fail on me during use, but not so expensive that if I have to discard it or I lose it, I'm going to stay up at night weeping. So this is a really great, affordable emergency use knife, extremely reliable, extremely solid. I have other G10 and polymer knives that I've had over the years, and we do a lot of live cutting and testing with them to make sure they're solid. This one certainly is. Although it's not intended for utility use, if you do lose the edge, what I normally use is just an emery board for your fingernails or a very soft grit sandpaper to get another edge back on there. But again, if I carried that and I only needed it once to protect my life, that would have more than paid off the investment. Overall, all I can say about these is that I was astounded by the quality and the finishing. There's not a drip or a scuff or an imperfection. It is just perfectly manufactured. The quality is beyond anything I've ever seen. It looks machine tooled, and I know Matt makes these all by hand. Just incredible across the board. So if you are looking for a non-permissible, non-metallic weapon, either a pen, knife, or if you're looking for a really great quality trainer, I cannot recommend these enough. I've had the Cold Steel Nightshade series, and I've had other small knife makers, trainers, and generally the finishing it's handmade. It's a bit rough. In some cases you buy 2 or 3 and the paracord is irregular, they slip off. These I've been using the trainer quite vigorously. Nothing close to slipping. It is so solid, so hard. The fit, it's just ergonomic. It's common sense. It fits well in the hand. It makes sense. They're purpose built by somebody who teaches self-defense and understands what they should feel like. So my highest possible recommendations, if you're in the market for something like this, these are just incredible.